I would like to introduce our speaker. Today we have joined with Naviz Razak. He's He's currently working as a technical lead at this institution, and he has over 20 years of experience in OT cybersecurity and IT and OT infrastructure, securing industrial control system and large-scale enterprise network. He has led OT cybersecurity assessment, designed secured network architecture, and implemented C2M2 and IEC 62443/ISA 99 and NIST SP 800 82 across massive multi-site industrial environments. Naveed, over to you.
Thank you, Memuna, and welcome everyone. Thank you, Memuna, for your introduction also. One quick disclaimer before we start. The topic today we were discussing is related to cybersecurity control system engineers, and whatever I will discuss in this presentation that reflect my personal opinion based on my experience. During our discussion or maybe in the questions, if let's say we will name any vendor or anything that doesn't imply an endorsement. We will start with let's say introducing a little bit, getting the introduction about our audience. For that, we are launching one screen on your poll on your screen so that you can answer the questions, and it will not take like 20 seconds or more. It will describe your primary role, that what you are doing these days. Okay, so we got a good amount of vote, and approximately 30% are control system automation engineers, and the plant operation or management person is also 10% approximately, and some of the approximately 30% is also IT and OT cybersecurity specialist. Okay, so let's start with the presentation. A little bit introduction is already completed. Okay, so OT cybersecurity for control system engineer or control engineer. So this webinar is related to control system engineer, not directly for the IT or the cybersecurity folks. But obviously you can get some idea that how we are trying to tell the OT cybersecurity engineers that what they need to do to help you out. So you can also listen into it. For the cybersecurity, it is very easy. Cybersecurity engineer, it is very easy to understand all the cybersecurity related terms. But for the control system engineer, if they are not related to the cybersecurity, it will be more beneficial. And the objective is not that we are turning you or tuning you into a cybersecurity engineer. You will stay the same the control system engineer, but it's about the understanding where the cybersecurity intersect with the control engineer and how your role directly impact plant safety, stability, and also uptime. So let's start with a little bit about the control system. What is the control system? Um, for the introduction of the IT world also. By the definition, control system is integrated hardware and software that monitor, control, and automation and automate industrial processes in the real time. In start, it works from the field device, and field devices are the actual devices which are actually operating in the plant. They are sensors, they are actuators, and they are working as eyes on the field device, on the field level. Then we have the controllers. The controllers are the devices which controls the field devices. and there could be multiple like DCS or RTUs. And then we have the HMI, which is SCADA or the DCS related HMIs, which monitor and giving the supervision layer of overall control network. So operators can operate the system, monitor the system, alarms, and can send the control commands to the field devices via the controllers. And to link all this, we have control networks, which works like a nervous system, and it gives the communication between the HMI to the controller and then to the field devices, so that the real-time data communication is happening on the network. So if we see our body, it's same with that. We have the mind, which is acting as a HMI or the SCADA. We have the brain, which is equal to controller, and we have the nerves, which works as a control network, and we have the muscles and the field devices, which act as a field devices. Control system applications are in energy sector, water, wastewater, oil and gas, and then manufacturing, transport, and then building management. It can be used for different services. Coming back to control system engineer, we have seen that okay, in the plant side there are control engineers, and their main purpose is to keep plant running, and their main purpose is to troubleshoot interlocks, process upset, and the changes related to the control system. Whereas if we see the controls, cybersecurity engineers, their main purpose or their main role is to secure the network, to secure the architecture, to build the asset inventory, to fix the vulnerabilities, do the assessment, and also to comply with the regulatory requirements or the C2M2 or IC 62443 requirements. And typically, we have seen it's not necessary that every control system engineer or the cybersecurity engineer is thinking in this way, but we have seen that typically, if let's say control engineer, if they are working, their way of thinking, if it is stable, do not touch it. Any change is risk to production. Prove it, won't trip the plant. On the other hand, if let's say there is cybersecurity engineers, for them, if it is connected, it is exposed. Unpatched systems are risks, and prove it won't increase the cyber risk. So both are correct at their own side, and both wants the plant to run, but in different manners. But in today's industry demand, the things are changing. Now we need to have some kind of like hybrid professional who is 30% traditional control system expert, 30% IT and system integrator, or who knows about all the network related or software related, whatever the requirements are, and then the OT cybersecurity related specialist, and 20% also for the data translator or business and data translator, which can understand the business requirement, and based on that it can finalize that what will be the output. So why cybersecurity matters in OT? In IT, it is from a long time. But if let's say we see 10 years or more than that, 10 years, systems were isolated. But now historian pushing data to IT, the plants are monitored centrally. This connectivity increase the risk. Most cybersecurity incidents in OT look like process upset, downtime, or unsafe behavior rather than the classic hacking. There are examples of the classic hacking also, but usually we have seen that cyber incidents are related to the operational problems. So your responsibility, cybersecurity is not directly your responsibility if you are the operator or let's say the control system engineer, but we can say, yes, your responsibility is to know how system behave, how changes affect the operations, and how to keep things stable. Cybersecurity depends on this knowledge also. So you are the helping hand for them. With that, we used to say the core principle that security is equal to safety and reliability. Security is a central important thing which is these days coming for the secure operation of the plant. And you have the knowledge of the process and you have the knowledge of system reliability. And if with the help of, for example, the cybersecurity team, you can bridge the gap between the cybersecurity and operational loop. So that's why we used to say that you are the overlap and you are the one who can give the operational integrity. With that, we formalize a four-pillar framework. This four-pillar framework translates the cybersecurity from a generic IT problem into a structured, actionable set of responsibilities that align perfectly with your existing engineering mindset and the duties. So for that, if let's say you see on the right side, we have four pillars, and these four pillars are also related to our normal engineering practices. The design and architecture, it's same as the civil or structural design. The operational habit is also related to the quality for the related to construction or whatever. And then incident preparedness is also related to our, for example, the same thing as we do in the emergency system or drills. And the last is related to the mindset. It is also related to the communication or safety culture where we say, okay, whenever there is some issue, please notify to certain bodies. So we will go in detail one by one for all the pillars. So design and architecture. The design phase is where you have most leverage. Network segmentation is not the IT preferences. It's about containing the disturbance. If malware hit the warehouse network, it should not be able to move into the reactor control system. So usually we have seen that if let's say implementation of network segregation is already completed, it will give the ease to the network and also to the cybersecurity system operators or the cybersecurity folks that they can rely on the firewall or the barrier between the two different networks, that how we can isolate those network and only allow the communication which is necessary for two different networks. With that also we need to know that whenever we need to connect with the IT side, we need to have a DMZ layer, and this DMZ is very important once you are trying to connect with the IT or internet. In past, we have seen that where some of the cases people were using the modems to connect directly to the OT and download the reports or upload the reports for the management or something like that. That era is gone. Now we need to have proper demilitarized zone between the IT and the OT. So even if let's say today you are doing the same practices, you have to change yourself. And you need to build your mind also related to when you are going to procure anything. So in by definition, secure by default, there are many requirements for that. But from the perspective for the control system engineer, you can ask your vendors and you can send them the questions which are related to the security, that they also understand, okay, the security matters for you. You can ask, for example, how to change the default password. Can we do the logging from this? Can we unblock? Can we block the unused physical ports and stuff like that? In the same way, you have to own your documentation. It is critical. It is a gift from your side to the cybersecurity team. For example, if you are maintaining the accurate network and data flow diagram, accurate asset inventory, you are giving them a good value, that you know that what is in your plant. And if the cybersecurity engineer, they know that what is in their plant, then they are more in a good way that they can go and fix those issues. So all the firmware related information and all the make models, all these things are very important for the asset inventory also. Okay, so let's start with another poll. This is also related to our OT network documentation. So you have 20 seconds for this poll also. Okay, so we got the answer approximately like 44% of the people, they said mostly accurate but could be better. And 24% is saying excellent. And 18% are saying fair. 2% they are saying what diagram. Anyway, so let's start with the presentation again. So you have seen that this is the requirement for the cybersecurity engineers also, so that we need to understand the requirements, and we need to help them for the cybersecurity, for the documentation. Okay, so the pillar number 2 is operational habits. We're doing many stuff which is as per our day-to-day activities during the normal plant operation. But if we little bit change our habits and add the defense element to your habits for the cybersecurity, this will increase a level of confidence for the requirement of the, let's say, cybersecurity. This operational habits, we will go one by one with that. Change management isn't bureaucracy. It's preventing accidental or intentional harm. It is very important to know that what, why, when, who did what. So you have the traceability, you know that what happened and due to which we changed this, whatever the change was happened. And the second thing is that shared account, like we used to do for the engineer 01 or operator 1, or using those kind of like accounts, we need to say to the vendors, or we need to ask our IT team also, that individual user accounts are very important. And based on every person's account, it is important that we can properly rely that who is doing what, and enforce the least privilege so that only acceptable rights are given to the users. In the operational habits, obviously there are multiple things, and USB, using the USBs or remote access is also one of the thing. Do not use random USBs on control system, even on your personal laptops or personal computers. It's better to sanitize them before using anywhere, or especially the untrusted sources, USBs, never connect them to the control system network. Then we have the patch management, which is also one of the biggest concern for the OT side of folks. Patch management is important. but also we need to talk with our security team that we need to test that patch before implementing on the control system environment. So you have an important role to evaluate that the testing is completed, and you need to know that if we have the rollback capability before applying that particular patch on the system. And once it is applied, then you need to see that the patches which are applied on your control system network, are they still is your control system is still behaving the same way, or if there is anything wrong with that. So the third pillar is incident preparedness. You have to help the cybersecurity team in case of any incident. In this also, we may can face unexplained communication delays. We can see that our normal operation is not happening like the usually it is happening. So when an incident occurred, the IT security teams, they can see the logs and the alert. You see the process behavior. That intuition is the detection tool. There is no ideas better than you. So you know what is normal and you know what is abnormal. Based on your evaluation, please tell to the IT team that what is happening and why it is in a wrong way. The second thing is, let's say if there is any incident, at that time management will ask, how do we get back online? How do we recover? So now it is very important for you to have a tested offline backup. And that is the best answer, that we have a tested backup, which is offline. Why offline? Because we know that we have seen in the past also that ransomware is one of the biggest risks, and it can encrypt the files wherever it can reach. So having a box where you have all the controller, HMI, historian, or other backups, that is very important. And that backup is offline. This is very important. So keep your offline toolkit ready for any incident. And in the last for this incident preparedness is the drills. It is very important. The drills are not waste of time. They are the only way to build the muscle memory and the relationships needed in the real crisis. During the drill, you actively participate and you see multiple things, what is happening, how it is happening, what to do, how to improve the drills. The drill will help you when the actual incident will happen, what you can do with your network and how to operate it, what will be your actions in case of any emergency. So drills, during the drills also you have to guide your operational impact and other aspect of the plant operations, so that the cybersecurity teams also know that what is important and what is not important. And the fourth pillar for this is mindset. Usually we have seen that in IT world and the OT world, these are two different worlds, and the people are coming from the IT world and they are saying, okay, we have to do the cybersecurity, and they don't know about, let's say, the cybersecurity or the OT world. In this, you are most valuable person. You know that what is the OT world, and you can bridge the gap between the cybersecurity and the OT world. Your little effort will play a crucial role. So if let's say we from the IT side, we have seen that people are saying that, okay, we need antivirus on all the system. So you need to understand in a good way, and you need to tell the IT team also that HMI server, the full scan we have to do in the maintenance window, not like in a live running environment, so that the process is not crashing. Or you need to tell them or guide them what is important for you. So translate whatever is in your mind and tell this to your IT guys or the OT cybersecurity guys, that what is in your mind and why you are afraid of, let's say, the antivirus or the updates or anything. In the same way, that's if, let's say, your PLC is vulnerable, don't say, okay, only that PLC is having the vulnerability. Say that a flaw that can let an attacker to override the high pressure. And this way you at least understand, okay, that this requirement is for myself, is for operational risks. And if, let's say, you don't know about what is happening on the plant side or in the industry, then you need to subscribe like CISA, ISCS advisories, or even MITRE ATT&CK. You can check them and understand what are the tactics the hackers are using against the OT environments. Okay, another poll is here, and we are launching it on your screen now. The question is, how often do you test the restoration of your critical controller configuration from backup? Remember, an untested backup is just a hope. Again, 20 seconds to respond to the poll. Okay, so approximately 62% said occasionally, and 23% regularly, and 8% said only when we have to after an incident. Um, so it is very important that we test our backups, and especially that how we can restore it. And if that, for example, if you are going in an incident, you should have a proper backup available for you, and it is tested. Okay, so once again, we have four pillar, just a highlight of that. It doesn't ask you to become a network penetration testing or the cybersecurity guru. It asks you to do what you already do: design, document, follow the procedure, monitor the system, and solve the problem with a new dimension in mind, that cybersecurity is also important. And your normal, all the best practices which you are using for your control system, you need to see how you can add them in your control system also. Okay, with that, we have a list of, let's say, to do. Pick one or two to start with. There is no need to be perfect, that you have to complete all the, let's say, asset inventory. But to start, just think for a second that you have to list down, for example, your most critical controller. Do you have the firmware variants? Do you have the configuration backup? Where is the configuration backup? Once you got the answer, extend your list from 5 to all the, let's say, all the control system equipment. In the same way, you need to check your diagrams, check your passwords, and workstation related hygiene. For example, if your workstation is working fine, if even if it is IT related computer, It is very important for you and that you are the control system engineer. You can have multiple kind of attacks on your systems from the IT side also. So if you are using browsers or any other email software and the link is coming, you need to see and understand before clicking on a link that what you are trying to open. And the same way, the last but not the least, for your cybersecurity team, it is very important that you communicate with them and say to them, hi, for example, I am Abdullah, a control system engineer, what you need from me and how I can help you. So this is one of the important thing. With that, my presentation is over and we are open for the questions. Questions you can ask in the question area, and for that we will give you the answers.
Naveed, we have few questions in the Q&A box. Let me know if you can see those.
Okay. Okay, one is the question is what is okay, it is changed. Um, Having update AV in the OT network. In the OT network, having antivirus updated is important. So this is the question. Yes, it is important to have antivirus updated in your OT network, obviously. If let's say you have some kind of like um, virus in your network and you are not having any antivirus, how you can, this is very basic and it is important, yes. Having SOC part of incident preparedness. Yes, obviously SOC is important, and for the incident preparedness, if you're asking about the team, yes, you need to have a team where the while doing the incident preparedness, your SOC team is also involved, and they can give you very valuable insight. Any membership with will be provided with the related to OT cybersecurity mentorship. Mentorship, yes, it can be provided. I already said that one of the thing is that there are multiple webinars in the series which are coming for this same cybersecurity. You can attend those webinars also. CISAs and that MITRE attack related advisories are also coming. So you can also subscribe to them, and if one-to-one you need to see when we will send you the messages, you can also contact us, maybe on the sales or marketing, and then you can contact with us and to have a separate sessions for that. How much important is malware analysis on the OT sector? uh, from the client's perspective, it is not necessary for them. Malware, I mean, I have seen that on the client side, at least, they don't have the even the capability to analyze the malwares. But from vendor side, obviously, it is important if there is any vendor which is sending the signature updates to the OT side. Is Active Directory server placed in OT network and regularly updated by IT? Active Directory server is a good practice. Usually, we have seen that IT and OT are having different Active Directory servers. But if, let's say, it is necessary, there are some cases where clients are saying that it is necessary for them to have IT and the OT Active Directory is same, then yes, you can do it. But obviously, you need to have some DMZ in between. And in the DMZ, it is important that there is some server available to replicate the communication. I mean, from the IT directly to the OT, if there is any connection, that is primarily discouraged from our side. For NIST 882, do we have checklist for preparing compliance report like NIST CSF? Not like that checklist, but it is giving you the guidance. And I think it will be easy to prepare a checklist. I never asked about that. NIST related IC 6243 62443 related checklists are available. You can check them from the market, and obviously there is mapping also available between the IC 62443 and, for example, the NIST 882. So you will get the same results if you are trying to achieve. One of the question is, what is Purdue model? Purdue models are the levels which are related to, for example, the layers of the network. So as we discussed already, that we have multiple layers. One of the layer is, let's say, the first layer or the bottom one layer is our control system, actuators, or let's say sensors. That is that is, it is not called layer, it is called, let's say, levels. And that levels are level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So level 3 is your supervisory control, level 2 is your controllers, and then your actuators, and then your actual field devices. So these are the related to the Purdue model. Will you share the recording of this presentation for future references? Yes, I think Mamuna already said that recording will be available. And I think that Mamuna will send the emails also for the recording. Correct, Mamuna?
Yes.
It will be available on the
Yeah.
YouTube also, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we covered all the questions.
There is one more question that says from where we can learn cybersecurity, being an operator.
Uh, YouTube is one of the biggest resource. We are also having the full-fledged, let's say, the webinar series. You can also follow them. And there are the other resources also. My Common is one of them, and other YouTube, on the YouTube there are multiple resources also available, so you can learn from them also. One more person also asked this in the same way, regarding the mentorship. um, Muna, I don't know how we can say to them, but I think that somehow we need to tell them how to contact us. Maybe the webinar series, on this email, we can also um, get the idea. I don't know. We can
Uh,
set, we can get the questions on webinar also.
Yeah, we get the question. So before we close our session, I would like to share a few informations with you. One, the certificate of participation will be dispatched after 2 hours of this completion of this webinar. If you have any question or want to see relevant topics to be covered in future, you can send those queries in our webinar at the rate isasolution.com. And our next episode on our series would be on building a secure ICS architecture, a blueprint for industrial networks. It would be on 26th of February from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. KSS time, and you can scan this QR code. Uh, in the meantime, Naveed, we have two more questions. if you could address those as well.
Let me see. Let me know a little bit about Nozomi networks. Mostly organizations are using in their environment as well. Yeah, Nozomi is the IDS. Primarily, are using it, or the clients are using it because there is no active um, scanning on the network. You can have a span port configured on your switches, which is very easy to do, and then you can send the packets from your switches to the Nozomi devices. And the Nozomi is having multiple kind of like AI related, let's say, engines, and there are signature updates also. With that, not only the IDS will be created, you will get some vulnerability details also, and also the asset inventory related details. So it is good to have on the network. Okay. With AI growing fast and OT adopting cloud, what are the some new vulnerabilities and how will protect? This is very AI is very scary. Obviously, on the one hand, we are listening that hackers are using the AI, and they are trying to manipulate with different kind of like security parameters or security controls which we are implementing. On the other hand, let's say we, as a defense team, we are not using it in the OT sector, especially. OT is now changing towards the cloud also, and from there, yes, it is quite possible that once we have those kind of questions, but in the Middle East at least, it is not um, a normal norm as of now. But in future, maybe it will be easy for the clients to go to the cloud and adopt these kind of like new, let's say, technologies. But with the new technologies, obviously new vulnerabilities will also come. And for the OT systems, yes, we need to see that how we can also utilize the new technologies in the OT environments. But as of today, multiple products are using the AI, but but that is also isolated way, not like a 100% connected way to adopt and to, for example, to learn from the different other aspects or what is happening on the other side of the network. With that, it is not possible as of now because the isolation between the IT and the OT world. But this is very, very scary and very good question. I think I need to have a webinar on this also. It will be good. Uh, One more question. What are the requirements to achieve SL3 above and per defined ISO? Um, uh, there is another webinar is coming related to IC 62443 SL level 3. And that webinar will cover this kind of like question. It will be hard over here to give all the answer on that. Okay, does the mark be OT network security architecture operator in accordance to the Purdue model for the network segmentation and security layering? Uh, I have to see. I really cannot comment on that because you are talking about some of the architecture, and architecture without seeing the architecture, um, it is not possible to answer your question. But usually we have seen that nowadays the all the vendors or OEMs are also adopting the segmentation and the layers. You can ask some questions to them regarding the segregation, how they are doing, or what kind of like segregation is there. Is there any firewalls or other kind of stuff is available? By the way, the next webinar, which is related to the security architecture, that is very much aligned with your question, and not like, for example, related to the same question 100%, but it will give you a very good insight for this kind of like um, this kind of question.